And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
All right, welcome back to the show. We got a lot of topics to cover. The Florida legislature comes out. They're offering more money through the Hometown Heroes program. We're going to explain a little bit about that. Also, elimination of Florida's business rent tax. That's great for freeing up capital in our economy. Jay Powell decides not to cut federal rates again. Why is that? We'll discuss. Also, Alligator Alcatraz. Have you heard about this? Florida eyes the biggest ice center in the Everglades. Imagine being in the Everglades and you break through the first wall there and you're like, okay, now I'm in the swamp. Where am I going from there? So we've got some interesting stuff on a national note, but we also like to focus here locally. So we're going to have Aaron Williamson. He's joining us, Aaron Williamson, in the house from Cornerstone. He's our tech expert. He's project management there, managing partner at Cornerstone. We're going to be talking with him here as well. And a quick shout out to our friends at Brio Tuscan Grill, the official restaurant partner in Tampa for the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brio Tuscan Grill, right there at the International Plaza Mall. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance, very friendly wait staff. Say hello to Chef Oscar Ramirez. Let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. I think they're giving appetizers if you just mentioned the quarterback show. And they also throw in, what do they give you over there? That free
glass of water.
Water with lemon. There you go, Dave. A free water with lemon. All right, we got our next party coming up, too, now. This is a free event. You are invited, our audience, everybody listening here. You're invited. Come on out, meet with us, and tell them about a little bit more about our Thursday event. It's July 3rd, 6 o'clock over there at Crown and Bull.
It's pretty awesome. It's one time of the month where we can get together with all the expert contributors. You come down, answer your questions to anyone that you've heard on the show, do some major networking. It is going to be Thursday, July 3rd. That's going to be between 6 and 8:30 p.m. Independence Day theme, so make sure you wear your red, white, and or blue. And it is right in the heart of downtown Dunedin at 319 Main Street, Crown and Bull. Lots of parking in the back there. Going to be a good time. And the appetizers. Appetizers are going to be covered by the MVP Platinum team.
That's right. Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, always helping you win in your real estate deals also. And as you know, we like to feature our listings live on air. It's a strategy that helps us sell faster for more money, maximum profit. Our highest duty to our sellers is to get them the maximum exposure, the maximum profit on the sale of their real estate properties. So by doing that, we're helping you sell faster for more money with less headaches. For example, 3308 Landing Place. This one is a gorgeous single-family home in Palm Harbor, 3 bedrooms plus an office, 3.5 bath, 2-car garage, 3,000 plus square feet, over a 1/3 acre lot, and you have a private pool, outdoor entertainment area, private marina with boat slips and a ramp to go on Lake Tarpon. You can take your boat and jet skis over there to the Tarpon Turtle. I've done that many a times. A lot of fun to be had on Lake Tarpon. Great fishing and water sports, of course. Gated tennis and basketball courts, waterfront park, playground, and scenic walking trails. Check out 3308 Landing Place, Palm Harbor, Florida. One of the best little cities here in Tampa Bay. All right, 221 Howard Drive. Beautiful listing. Just reduced. We've got a motivated seller here. We just improved the price on this $1 million listing from the Platinum MVP team. This one's 221 Howard Drive, Bel Air Beach. Now, 5 bedrooms, 3 bath, 3,500 square feet, gorgeous 3-island kitchen, Thermador appliances, saltwater pool, 100 feet of water frontage. You are 1 block to beach access, where you have access to Pinellas County's beautiful dolphin-filled water, sugar sand beaches there. Check out 221 Howard Drive, Bel Air Beach, Florida. Beautiful property, and we are luxury. That's Keller Williams Luxury International for the Platinum MVP team, and we always help you win. You can see all of our real estate listings, and if you're buying, selling, investing, or refinancing, we would love to talk to you. Stop by our website, platinummvpteam.kw.com.
And yeah, I'm raising my glass to those saving our ass overseas.
That's right. Shout out to our military there, and also the NGOs, the folks like Gray Bull that are over on the ground, boots on the ground right now, evacuating Americans from the Middle East. They're friends of the program, Brian Stern, also Will's Way Foundation, working with those folks as well. So shout out to our troops, our veterans out there. We always take care of our veterans. A lot of our expert contributors have discounts built in for them, and we certainly do on the real estate side as well. All right, let's welcome in Aaron Williamson. Welcome in, sir. Thanks for coming on air with us.
Thanks, Brandon. Good to be here.
Yeah, man. Awesome. So when you think about Cornerstone, who is Cornerstone? Let's start with a little background.
Yeah, absolutely. Cornerstone Project Management company, IT solutions company. We started out in May of 2020 when it was still 2 weeks to slow the spread. Yeah, in retrospect, that was a tough year. But no, we've been around. We're a local Tampa Bay business. We do staff aug, project and program management, business analytics, and IT solutions.
IT solutions. So there's a lot that falls under those kind of categories there, right? I think one of the things people kind of overlook in this day and age is, it's talked about, but as far as implementation is just protecting your assets, protecting from these threats, these cyber threats.
Yeah, 100%. So one of the big things, recently that's been in the news a lot is cybersecurity. I know we just got a drop from Kash Patel saying maybe that the U.S. had a cybersecurity incident in the 2020 election, and we don't know how much to believe, but it's very real. Cybersecurity is a big deal. There's a lot of IT solutions that can get you there, though. But really, what you do is you step back and you say, "What's my bigger picture? What's my strategy? Where are my apps located? Where are they hosted? Are they on premise? Are they in a cloud? What are some very basic things? Do I have antivirus? Am I behind a firewall? Do I use a VPN?" And these are some very simple things that a lot of small businesses don't really think about right up off the bat. The first year you're in business, we didn't even have to think about it, right? You're just using Gmail and text, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
But once you get a CRM solution, maybe a Salesforce front end now that you're looking at, and you have customer data in a bunch of different places, are you even following the regulations that require you to protect certain data, like HIPAA laws and other things? It gets complicated quick.
Yeah, it sure does. And I think a lot of times business owners, we kind of focus on, hey, making sure the cash flow's coming in, closing deals, closing sales, and we kind of overlook sometimes these other, incidental type business functions, but it can come to harm you. Do you have maybe a success story in the past, a business that you worked with and, kind of help paint the picture for our audience?
I'll give you a quick one. In 2019, there was a telemarketing company in Little Rock, Arkansas. They had a crippling ransomware attack where essentially a hacker gained access to their entire on-premise database and everything in their supply chain. And they had no option but to pay the hacker. Well, the code didn't work.
Wow.
Hacker gone with the money. They went out of business. They could not recover everything. And as of 2020, they had just shut down operations.
Man, that's terrible.
And they had been in business for 61 years.
61 years.
61.
Unbelievable. Yeah, and you and I were talking, this is an older story, but tell me about the one where they came in through the undetected, you would never think it, right?
that was in Vegas, right? So there was, I remember a casino that lost a bunch of data through a wireless-enabled fish tank thermometer. You don't even think about it. They can get in from anywhere, and these are the things that we need to think about. And even if we don't protect them, if on the front end, you can always protect on the back end, and that's a lot of things. The type of infrastructure. When we use the word infrastructure, what we're talking about is segmentation and protection, and that kind of organization within the IT. Yeah.
Talk to me about business intelligence, data analytics, and then turning that information into a profit.
So this is in vogue right now, and it comes because small and medium-sized businesses too have a lot of data at their disposal. They don't think about it, right? But you're already collecting valuable data, right? You have customer preferences, sales trends, website traffic. And if you're in real estate, you're looking at things like your portfolio performance, tenant behavior, market trends. All of this data, especially when you couple it with outside data sources like, weather patterns, economic trends, things like that. And I've got a funny story about that. But you start seeing trends. A lot of people think that they're good at seeing trends and guiding their businesses and making these intelligent decisions. But the fact is we don't see everything and we miss some things. And these business analytics dashboards are becoming quite popular with small businesses because in relatively short time, thanks to tools like Tableau, Microsoft Power BI, you can throw all of this in one and then have big data just run the analytics on it. And you can say, it'll say, maybe your pricing needs to be changed here. Maybe you're focusing on the wrong area. But yeah, and I think a lot of that comes from the biases we have. We know our business better than anyone else.
Right.
But at the same time, we all have our biases and we miss things.
Right.
And so we got to rely on the data. What does the data say? And then you can go with your gut feel. But yeah, it's and the other piece of that comes from not knowing that two things even correlate. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I worked with Halliburton, and we used to track metrics like equipment utilization, right? So our capital equipment is very expensive, and we need it to be highly utilized to pay itself off, right, through services. And we would track it just based off paper logs. Well, that changed to electronic logs, and that eventually changed to GPS monitoring on rolling stock. And we said, okay, well, we got this job, and it was down in Mexico, and I was in Houston at the time. And I said, we'll send it out, send the truck out. The customer calls a little bit later and says, yeah, your crew never arrived. And I said, okay, hold on one sec. Let me check the GPS.
Yeah.
They say, oh, the truck's broken down. Oh, no, that's not good. Let's send we didn't say anything. District manager drives out there, checks on them. They're having a barbecue. It was a Mexican holiday. We didn't realize, they didn't want to work that day.
Yeah.
And I say this only anecdotally to say, we learn a lot by looking at all these other data sources. Like how fast were our pumps running out was a big thing. We realized the highest causation wasn't utilization, was weather. The seals in the pumps, if it's hot, they wear out.
Got it.
Go figure, right?
Got it.
Something we would notionally know.
Sure.
But it's these bringing all of this together and then visualizing it in a way that people love visualizations. Like we don't like looking at spreadsheets, numbers. So that's what these data analytics and business intelligence is, and it's not just for big companies. Boeing infamously has made a lot of money analyzing and streamlining their supply chain, but it's not just for them.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, and and it's for you, our audience. This is why we bring on all these great experts. We're talking with Aaron Williamson here. He's our tech expert. Local economy, local business owners, support the local economy here. Cornerstone Project Management and cornerstonepmp.com, cornerstonepmp.com, and also call the hotline. That's a resource for you. You can reach out to our show hotline. We'll put you in touch with any one of our 80 different categories of consumer advocates. 813-917-1894. You can call or text that show hotline, 813-917-1894. And of course, you can see all of our experts at consumerqb.com. So helping small business owners, we're talking about technology here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I want to shift gears a little bit, just kind of get to the what do they say, the elephant in the room, Jay Powell not cutting the overnight lending rate with the Federal Reserve. It's he cut it multiple times leading up to Kamala's supposed coronation, and the economy was in far worse shape. So if you look right now, we've got creating jobs. We got $88 billion coming in from tariffs already. There's an interesting email from Congress saying, hey, what's going on? There's a lot of money coming in. Asking Trump, and he says, well, I know, check the tariffs. I know a little bit about what I'm doing. $88 billion came in. So you look at jobs, you look at unemployment being down, CPI's in good shape. But now, Jay Powell is still not budging on rates, even though inflation is almost non-existent and the economy's starting to boom. Why? Because he's an establishment agent. He's an agent of the establishment trying to hurt Trump's economy. So, how does that play out? If we were to, right now we're sitting in a market in real estate wise where, it's a little bit stagnant. It's a little bit slow. Buyers can make offers. They're getting concessions. They can make lower offers. They're getting seller concessions, prepaid items paid for at closing. And I think that's a big misstep by Jay Powell. But again, it's politically motivated. They should have dropped the rates. That would help us out tremendously, and it would really stimulate our economy. So any thoughts on generality there?
I wish the Fed would explain some of their decisions in more English language than they do.
Yeah.
And that's historically, not just now with Powell, but the only defense I would have for him is, there's this possibility of war looming, and maybe some of that goes into it, but the conditions seem ripe for lowering the rates.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know what he's thinking.
Well, you know what he cited? Tariffs.
Yeah.
He cited the unknown about tariffs, but we
don't know if that's the full truth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's and like you said, he's an establishment guy.
Yeah.
It's not typically a political position, so although it has been politicized recently.
That's what they say,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
All right, quick break, right back. More with Aaron Williamson here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's our local business tech expert. He can help you with your business, your personal computer situation, things like that. Cornerstone Project Management coming up. More with him. Also, have you heard about this alligator Alcatraz? Interesting. Got an interesting tweet from the Florida Attorney General. That's James Othmeyer. We're going to talk about that a little bit coming up. More technology conversation, of course, as well. Follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at Brandon Rimes 1 at CQB Show. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Consumer Quarterback Show. Our shout out to our producers, up 700% on our views from Q4 to Q1. Quick break, right back.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Did you know that we buy houses cash? We can close quickly for a all-cash offer on your real estate properties, residential, commercial, even vacant land. We'll buy your property cash. No cleaning, no showings, and no hassles. You can even possibly stay in your home post-closing. Call Brandon at 813-917-1894. Submit the email at consumerqb.com or call 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com. We buy houses cash and fast. Attention business owners. Did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our no money down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. brimes at kw.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. brimes at kw.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, the official Pinellas County restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Doug Clark, chef and owner Doug Clark, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance. Say hello to our friend Doug Clark. If you're facing an insurance claim, don't just trust the insurance company to have your best interests at heart. This is Brandon Rimes, Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to rightwaypa.com, our friend Derek Coble at rightwaypa.com. Looking to level up your sales game? With 20 plus years of coaching experience spanning across several industries, Lindsay Rimes helps everyone from entry-level reps to seasoned business owners boost sales, improve work-life balance, and retain top talent with customized options catered to personal, group, or corporate settings. Brandon and Lindsay Rimes offer training on negotiation strategy, business development, and more. Let's grow your business together. Call 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Submit an email at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rimes here with a brand new listing from the Platinum MVP team on Greenbrier. This is Clearwater, another listing from Aaron Foley on our team. This is a affordable 55-plus community, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 790 square feet, 2003 Greenbrier Boulevard, unit number 8 in Clearwater. Great opportunity. Community pool, clubhouse, exercise room. Great listing from Aaron Foley on our team. 2547 Lexington Oak Drive, Brandon, Florida. Got to be the best priced townhome in the area. Beautiful property. Great value here. 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bath, 1-car garage. 1917 square foot, new flooring. Got a level 2 EV charger in the garage. Beautiful community pool. Lighter color kitchen cabinetry with stainless steel appliances. Check out 2547 Lexington Oak Drive, Brandon, Florida. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, I want to get back into it, touch on, one of the biggest questions that we see, Aaron, or at least, you kind of hear through the sales, being a salesperson, real estate, and then, you got business owners out there wondering, what is a common use or what would be a good first start for something like a Chat GPT to be able to utilize that into your business?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll give you a little story here. So built into Windows is an app called Copilot. It is Microsoft's version of their AI. I was at a networking event a few weeks ago, and I talked to a guy. It was busy, loud. Everybody's talking real close.
Yep.
Talked to a guy, got his card, talked to him for 5 minutes. We might have talked about boxing or something else. It wasn't work. Went on. Later, another guy came up to me, said, hey, did you meet this guy? I said, oh, yeah, I think I did. I have his card. He goes, you really need to get to know him. And when you hear that in business development, you know you better go get to know this guy,
Sure.
right? So I said, all right. So I went back home. And what usually I need to do is I need to figure out who he is, what he does, and what my value proposition to him is.
Got it.
I went to Copilot. I said, I scanned his business card.
Nice.
And I said, tell me what this guy does. It went and scoured social media, probably mostly LinkedIn.
Wow.
Went and found federal sites because he was working certain corridor projects that were public. Then I said, go to my website, tell me what my value propositions are to his projects, specifically the ones he's having challenges with. Boom.
Boom. Wow.
What usually took me probably 3 days, at least a few hours to do, took AI less than 15 minutes. I mean, it took it 15 seconds, but it took me 15 minutes to figure out the right questions to ask it.
Right.
I had my value proposition right there.
That's smart. I heard Charlie Kirk talking about on his episode of one of his shows something similar where they were looking at a particular stock or an industry. I think it was a stock or something, and said, hey, to the AI, talking to a big time investor, hey, how did you use this? Well, I used to have 100 analysts, now only have 15 that can go in, and it literally predicted like the stock will go down 15%, and that's what it did. It's 14.8%. I mean, within range, very, very close within range there. So if you just joined us, by the way, we're talking with Aaron Williamson. He is a managing partner at Cornerstone Project Management, cornerstonepmp.com. He can help you with your small business and other areas of concern. Take the final minute or so, just give a final thought out there to how you can help some of our audience.
Yeah, absolutely. So IT solutions and strategy isn't just for big business, right? You can get a lot of bang with your buck, especially with the evolution of technology and where we are today. I want to spend the last minute talking about, because we're local and we want to impact the community, we have a charity partner called Great Commission Partnerships. GCP is based here in Tampa. It's a Florida nonprofit 501c3, and their mission is to advance the gospel of Jesus Christ by connecting Christians to global missions, equipping local churches, and supporting long-term partners in the field. We partner with churches in Nepal, Tampa, Boston, Brazil, a communist country in the Caribbean that is notoriously tough to do business with.
Wow. Yeah.
All of these, and we equip pastors, but we also put on things like camps and VBS and children's programs and food.
Nice.
So I want you to look them up. They're at gcpartnerships.org, and we are Cornerstone Project Management. And
that's awesome.
Thank you, Brandon.
I love that charity. That's great, man. Good stuff. Thanks for doing that. Good stuff. All right. Well, thanks for coming in. Aaron Williamson, check him out online, cornerstonepmp.com. And you'll be hearing more of him here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Coming up next, Duane Bishoff. We're going to talk about what happened in the Florida legislature, all of these different bills that just got approved and passed, and things like more money for hometown heroes, elimination of Florida's rent tax, business rent tax, My Safe home program. It allows you to, fortify your homes against storms. Coming up, Duane Bishoff here, Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rimes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rimes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. We got Duane Bishoff joining us here in studio, CPA of TampaBay.com. We're going to talk with him. Also, alligator Alcatraz. What is that? I'm scrolling on social. I'm like, what is that? What a good catchphrase there. But we're going to talk about that. And also, the Florida Realtors shoots me an email. They send us an email and let us know as realtors, hey, what's new, what just passed in this extended legislation. If you didn't hear about that, there's a little bit of a little civil war going on in Tallahassee between the State House representative president and DeSantis, and they worked, so it extended the legislative session. But anyways, there's multiple things that came out of it. Elimination of Florida's business rent tax. I'm going to discuss that with Duane Bishoff. That's going to be effective October 1, 2025. Hey, more money for Hometown Heroes housing program. That's great news. We'll dive into a little bit about that. Also, My Safe Florida Home Program gets more funding, and that's essentially a bill that passed that says is giving more money and programs to help Floridians protect their homes against storms and reduce their insurance premiums. So some really good stuff coming out. We're going to touch base with Duane Bishoff on that and more relating to taxes and business and the economy. Before we do, quick shout out to our friend Lee over at Lee's Royal Services. He does a great job cleaning our real estate properties. He's a residential commercial cleaner, and he does a great job over here in Tampa Bay. Lee'sRoyalServices.com. Lee'sRoyalServices.com. Also, on the exterior of the property, Heights Soft Wash, pressure washing company. They just cleaned our home yesterday. Great job by Ramin and his team, HeightsSoftWash.com. HeightsSoftWash.com. Taking clean to new heights. And that's our friend Ramin on the exterior of the property. So we got the interior and the exterior covered there from our show partners there. All right, got a couple of hot listings here. We always like to feature our properties on air. 17416 Magnolia Island Boulevard. This is a gorgeous home. It's a large home. It's 5 bedrooms, 3 full bath, 2 half bath, and you have a 2-car garage, 3121 square feet, acre of land, gated community with lake access. And this is a rare gem at an excellent price because Magnolia Island is home to only about 30 homes. It offers that Cape Cod-inspired alcoves. It's beautiful property, pool, spa package, pavers in the back, screened-in lanai, lighter color kitchen cabinetry and granite countertops. Great opportunity to buy real estate at 17416 Magnolia Island Boulevard. I think it's listed just over $900,000. Beautiful property right here in Central Florida. All right, 4798 Indigo Road. We got 42 acres of land. And yes, we sell commercial properties, businesses. We sell vacant land, residential properties. We also buy homes cash, but we'd love to help you sell if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest. 42 acres here at 4798 Indigo Road, Groveland, Florida. Prime for development or potentially just a good old country estate, build a nice house there. You've got an existing 2-2 home that's ideal for residents or maybe a temporary base during development. 30 minutes from downtown Orlando, and you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, Duane Bishoff back in studio with us. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, man. What do you think about that alligator Alcatraz?
Hey, whatever they got to do to catch these people and do something with them is good with me.
Get the bad guys, put them in there. It says, here's the quote from the Florida Attorney General, James Utemeyer. Says, if somebody were to get out, there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Only alligators and pythons waiting for you. That's what I like to call. That's why I like to call it. He says, Alligator Alcatraz. I've never heard of that.
Is that down the Everglades?
Yeah, it's going to be in the Everglades, I guess. It's proposed. I don't know if it's approved or anything, but Trump administration said ICE officers would target at least 3,000 arrests daily, up from about 650 daily during the first months of Trump's second term. So yeah, it's interesting.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle of the Everglades. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, and if you get out and somebody sees you, man, there's a lot of hunters out there. So, normally those hunters are pretty good law-abiding citizens and conservatives. So you might be facing some shotguns too there, You never know. But anyways, let's talk business. Let's get back to business here. So what do you think about this one? This is just passed. It's the elimination of Florida's business rent tax. Includes a complete elimination of the BRT, which represents an additional $900 million in tax relief for businesses throughout Florida. The elimination includes both state and tax rate as well, discretionary sales surtax in the counties that can levy on commercial leases.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, I saw where they reduced it. It's interesting when people buy a commercial building, they go, should we put it in a separate entity or put it in our own, our own entity?
Yeah.
And at 7.5%, whatever, a lot of people chose to put it in the entity of their operations, just for that 7% penalty they're paying, and having to file payroll, sales tax reports every month.
Instead of doing a separate entity.
Instead of a separate entity, which is the preferred way to do it.
Right.
And so this will definitely help a lot with that. I mean, I've got a client who, I wouldn't even go through it, but he just is making a dumb mistake over 7%. I mean, you'll save 40% income tax, but you're worried about paying 7% sales tax.
Right.
So it takes that off the table.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
but
get it.
some people, they're just adverse to sales tax.
Yeah.
So, no, I think it definitely helps. It definitely helps with the owning a commercial property or looking to buy one.
Yeah, you look at that $900 million in tax relief. I mean, you go back to the Reagan administration, you start thinking about that trickle-down effect. And as much as some people on the left want to say that doesn't work, it does. When people have more money freed up, they're going to invest it. They're going to hire more people. They're going to, it's going to trickle down.
That's what happens. They're trying to make more money. Like someone I heard on the radio today, they talk about the Lakers selling for $10 billion.
Yeah.
They go, well, they're not going to sit there with their hands in their pocket. They're going to figure out how we can make that $10 billion, $20 billion.
Yeah.
They don't.
Exactly.
And so that's where that trickle down comes from.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. All right, here also more money for Hometown Heroes programs in the Senate Bill 2500 injects an additional $50 million into the Hometown Heroes program. The state's popular first-time buyer program for hardworking Floridians. Please note that certain occupations have been added to this funding. Yeah, because it used to be just paramedics and, that actual firefighter type, the police. Now it's kind of expanded out. It's more income-driven. But that's a great program, too. Have you heard about that or seen people take advantage?
I have not seen anybody take advantage, but anything that can help people get into houses is a good thing.
Yeah. Why is that? When you're building wealth, can you just break it down a little bit? I mean, for sometimes, I'm in it so close in real estate every day. But from a CPA, just talking generalities, you hear the term real estate's built more wealth. And I'll talk a little bit about some of the depreciation and some of the things that you see.
Well, even without depreciation, even your personal, you don't get depreciation on your personal residence unless you're, using renting part of it out or something. But even with that, you're throwing money away on rent. Every day you write a rent check, it never comes back.
Right.
And so if you're putting money towards a property that you own, even you're paying every time you write a check for that monthly mortgage, part of that's going to increase your equity.
Yeah.
And traditionally the market's gone up in real estate. I mean, it has its dips. It always does, but it generally takes a little while to come back, but it'll come back.
Yep.
It's kind of like the stock market. So yeah, I've never seen too many people really lose money, especially on the long term in real estate.
Yeah, exactly. It's the best investment. All right, My Safe Florida Home Program gets more funding. This includes $280 million for new funding for My Safe Home Florida Home Program, and that's essentially where there's a condo program too. But it's essentially helping Floridians kind of harden their homes and reduce insurances. So that sounds like a good one too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the cost of windows and doors are just out of control.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's crazy what they cost. And now, anything you do to a house, you do so much work to a house, you've got to bring it up to standards, and so you got to put new windows in, and they're not cheap.
Yeah.
So
all that.
And after the storm, everybody went through last year. We went through the storm. That one it was still 100 miles off the coast. It wasn't even like close. And imagine if it had been here.
Right.
Hadn't been 100 miles off.
Right.
So the damage that they did, but
it is. It's unbelievable. There's still people recovering from that, and still dealing with FEMA. Like there's a friend of mine that's dealing with FEMA, just trying to get like a measly $1,400 for a reimbursement where you can, if you had to flee town, evacuate, right? Still dealing with that on the phone, and they come up with all these excuses on why. And can you upload this document and that document? It ends up being a point where people just give up.
Yeah.
Some people do.
I've got a client that he has a house on St. Pete Beach, one of the fingers there, and they've probably got $300. That difference in the estimate and in his appraisals is $400,000 of damage, and I said, well, how much did you get? He goes, we got $1,300.
Wow.
And they had flood insurance.
Holy cow.
And they said, we don't cover anything under 8.5 feet. He bought a house that had been up, but they did work underneath.
Got it.
And so they wouldn't cover anything. He got $1,300, I think is what he said.
Yeah.
Man. And my son, same issue. He's here at South Tampa.
Yep.
They're just now getting to where they're starting to rebuild their, fix their house. But it took forever for insurance and FEMA. I don't even know what he got. He got something, but not much.
Wow, unbelievable too. And I guess another topic that's kind of related is, Jay Powell not cutting the Fed. The Federal Reserve deciding not to cut again. It seems to me the economy's in great shape. You've got inflation. I think it was sitting at 2.1 is what I saw, and they were saying they were targeting 2%. You've got a huge increase in jobs. I think it was something like 189,000 jobs that were created. And the big difference between the job creation with the Trump administration versus the Biden administration, a lot of those jobs were government jobs, like basically taxpayers spending money to pay for government jobs anyway. And then the Trump side it's free capitalism, politics, private sector jobs. So anyways, my opinion, the Fed should have reduced rates at least somewhat. Get us a little momentum going here.
Yeah, no, definitely. It definitely helped like you said earlier, it definitely helped the housing market. People are sitting on the sidelines waiting for interest rates to drop to make a move.
Yep.
Anybody who has, my mortgage, like 2.75%, I'm not moving that thing for anything, And so there's a lot of people I'm not planning on moving, but there's a lot of people sitting on that kind of a mortgage. My son is one. He's got one, and his wife wants to move in North Tampa, and he's in South Tampa, and he's like, hell no, it's going to cost us too much money. You don't understand how this works. We're waiting for the interest rates to drop, and then we'll talk about it.
That's right. There's so many people in that wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
Before the election, it was the wait and see what happens with the election.
Right.
We're going to have another 2020, stolen election, or is it going to be a straight up deal? And then, what are the implications of that? Now you're seeing the wait and see for what you just described. There's a lot of different people that are kind of like, hey, what's going on? Let me get the stats in there, by the way. We always like to keep it local here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So I've got some of the latest stats here. We just did Pinellas County a couple days ago. How about we look at, let's look at Hillsborough County here. Or let's look at Pasco. We haven't done Pasco in a few days. Let's look at Pasco County non-distressed single-family home. These are, single-family homes, non-condos, okay, essentially. So what we're looking at right now, Pasco County, latest inventory from the multiple listing service, 4,541 active listings, 1,363 sold. Easy math there. That gives us a 30% absorption rate and a 3.3 month supply of inventory. So actually, Pasco County is still on that seller's side of a seller's market. It's, some of the other counties are moving more towards a buyer's market where it's between 5 and 7. But when you have 3.3 month supply of inventory, that's still a seller's market, essentially, because there's still a lack of inventory. And I think that trend maybe shows people moving from the south up to Pasco, Hernando, Citrus. You kind of see that trend getting a little bit more value the further north they go. What say you, Duane?
No, I agree. I think the other thing is that people they want to buy houses that are already done. They don't want to do houses.
Right.
So they want the newer kitchen. They want the new this and the new that they see on all these shows on TV.
Yep.
And they don't want to mess with doing it. They don't have the wherewithal or whatever to do it. They can pay a monthly payment, but they don't have enough money to fix something.
Right.
And so I think that's stalled. I have a friend that's trying to sell houses, and like, have you updated it?
Right.
Did you take the carpet out? Did you replace the carpet? You got to do some things to attract people. It's a kind of a different buyer than it used to be.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if you're doing flips, you
Yeah.
look at these flippers, these home builders, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're putting in the nicer, newer, lighter color. They're making it, and then they're also staging the home. It's amazing how staging can help. Because a lot of times the buyers come in and say, hey, I just want to buy it all the furniture too.
Right.
This looks gorgeous. You know, let's add that into the payment if we can. All right, more with Duane Bishoff coming off. He's our coming up CPA of Tampa Bay. Again, supporting the local economy on the Consumer Quarterback Show. All of our expert contributors can be found at consumerqb.com. All right, quick break, right back. More with Duane here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at Brandon Rimes1 at CQB Show. And we got some other interesting topics here. We got $385 million for state and local affordable housing programs, and also $1.5 billion for Everglades and water quality coming up here. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rimes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com for all of your non-woke, American-made products. American values, Christian, conservative American values. Say hello to my business partner, Jim McCune at AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Say hello to Shane Socash, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, 4009 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg. Online at David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com for all of your precious metals and jewelry design. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Blue Moon Estate Sales of Pinellas County for all of your estate sale needs. BlueMoonEstateSales.com. Reach out to Jennifer. Tell her you heard about her here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. BlueMoonEstateSales.com. And stop by their store, the Blue Moon Store, at 1479 South Belcher in Largo. 1479 South Belcher in Largo. And that's BlueMoonEstateSales.com. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for Jason Coble, owner of Coble Law. Coble Law has been handling injury cases in Tampa for the past 14 years and has a specialized approach focused on limiting client cost and maximizing client profit. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. Jason Coble, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, personal injury law, and work comp law. Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rimes. You can reach me at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb, like quarterback.com. Buying, selling, investing, or refinancing? We would love to talk to you. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rimes here in studio with CPA of Tampa Bay. That's Duane Bishoff, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of these other programs that were funded by the Florida State Legislature. Just recently, you had Senate Bill 2500, which has some more funds here for down payment. State housing initiatives, that's called the SHIP program, down payment and closing cost assistance. So we'll dive into that here in just a moment. Before we do, we always like to feature our listings on air. A couple of our hot listings here in Tampa Bay. We got some beautiful listings, about 45 current listings from the Platinum MVP team. And we're always kind of putting properties under contract, bringing in new listings. So we've got some new listings here. This one's at 7991 Lake James. This is another new listing from the Platinum MVP team. This one's in Lakeland. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 3-car garage, 1890 square foot. This one is built by renowned builder Ernie White Construction. Gated 55-plus community in Lakeland. High ceilings. You have beautiful lighter color kitchen cabinetry, granite countertops, tile flooring right there. Beautiful home and a nice community lake and a community pool there at 7991 Lake James Boulevard, Lakeland. Beautiful property there. 1210 Paradise is another listing here in Tarpon Springs. Paradise Lake Drive. Beautiful property right here in Tarpon Springs. 4 bedrooms, 3 bath. You have 2-car garage, 2274 square feet. Got a pool and spa package in the back. Fireplace in the kitchen. Lighter color kitchen cabinets. Stainless steel appliances. And you have newer components in the home. Talking about the roof, gutter, downspouts as well. Upgraded pool heater. 1210 Paradise Lake Drive, Tarpon Springs. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Think about the show, helping you win in any marketplace. That's what we do. We're interviewing Duane Bishoff today, CPA of Tampa Bay, having a conversation around, some of the tax deductions. We're going to get to some of the tax deductions related to hurricane losses. I just wanted to touch on a couple of other items that were in this Florida legislature's passing of these bills. $385 million for state and local affordable housing programs. You couple that with the hometown heroes. They're doing a lot here to help the real estate market. I think a lot of people realize, Duane, that when you think about real estate, how much it drives the local economy. You got real estate, mortgage, title, insurances, handymen, contractors. So many people that kind of trickle down, and that economic boom that can happen. And that's why, again, a lot of people are really deflated or frustrated that too late Jerome Powell did not reduce those rates. But let's remind people too, with the hurricane losses, you got tax deductions there if they haven't looked at that.
Yeah, so there's a special because it was considered a federal disaster area, and so that gives you special deductions. And basically, we need the best way to declare your losses is to get an appraisal. And we're talking about residential real estate here, so an appraisal of the house before the storm, and then an appraisal of the house after the storm. You call the appraisers; they know what they're doing. They can do this, and that difference is a loss that you can take. And if that loss is bigger than your income, you can carry it back and carry it forward. So we've had clients that have unfortunately had hundreds of thousands of dollars of loss, one over $1 million of losses, and take those losses, getting them back. I think a guy yesterday, $68,000, and he still has a loss to carry back to 23. He's going to get him about another $9,000.
Wow.
So it's doesn't necessarily mean what you put in. You have to have basis to cover it too. So there's more than just that, but that's the start. And if you have smaller losses, 10, 15 grand, whatever, is a kind of different way we go about that. We just take what your expenses are and take them as a loss. There's a way to kind of finagle that.
Yeah, one of the things in the big beautiful bill that I hear too is this jumping up the depreciation up to 100% depreciation, bonus depreciation on different assets, even real estate. Have you seen?
I haven't. That? No, you know what? I don't pay attention to that stuff until it passes.
Till it passes.
Yeah, because it changes and everything. There's no sense in wasting brain cells on stuff that's not going to pass.
I hear you there. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
I mean, back in the day, you could take depreciation over 15 years on property. So when I think Reagan was in, then it was 15 years. It'd been as little as 15 years. So it wouldn't surprise me that I don't see 100%, but definitely speed it up. I mean, commercial buildings right now is 39 years.
Wow.
Residential is 27 years.
Yeah.
So
it's a little bit better than what the other side was going to do, tax us on the perceived value. What was that term again, Todd? You mentioned it.
Like the
unrealized
gains? Yeah, unbelievable. That's just unbelievable.
Terrible idea. Communist idea.
Oh, gosh.
Unbelievable. Yeah. But, so we'll see, man. We're gonna have a great economy going forward. I think things are going to be rocking very, very soon.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep, good stuff. All right, Duane Bishoff, find him online, cpaoftampabay.com. Thanks for coming in, Duane. Appreciate it.
Good to see you.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, so we had Aaron Williamson on the front end, tech expert with Cornerstone Project Management, and Duane Bishoff, of course. And Some good stories there. The alligator Alcatraz. It'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. All right. So, hey, another great show. I want to thank our producers. Thank you for listening. And please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rimes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.